All right, I'm Nick. Today we're going to take a few minutes. We're going to talk about the new Old Town Sportsman rod tube replacement mount. Now, this is actually version 3. We've had to change the design over the last 2 years because really we made the first version of this 2 years ago. We made several different versions of it. Some of them had through holes so you could put wires through. Wasn't a very popular option. The first one had a track mount that was really, really small, and it was just designed for putting fish finders on there, right? As we did that, people bought it and they were like, hey, I want to mount this on there. Or, hey, instead of putting a 7-inch monitor, I want to mount a 10-inch monitor. Or, hey, I want to put a GoPro that's 4 foot long on there. Or I want to troll with downriggers from it. And all kinds of different stuff, right? So we made version 2, which was a 2-piece design that had a 3D printed part that was screwed with 6 screws into an HDPE piece, and it was stronger, okay? We wanted it to have a point where it would fail, because if it didn't have a point where it would fail, we were worried that it would damage the kayak because people mount crazy things on their live scope poles, all kinds of stuff, and I wanted it to fail without damaging the kayak. Now, version 3 is a solid piece of HDPE. It's extremely strong. I'll show you why we were able to do it. I'm going to come around here. I'm going to install one so you guys can see it. This is the mount installed right here already. It will come in a bag that looks like this or similar to this with the 3 washers and the gasket. As you guys can see, we got rained on. We tried to film this earlier and we got rained out. I have one right here. We're gonna wipe that water off. Gasket, full track. This track is now 4 inches long. That's a peacock. This track is now 4 inches long. The old version of the track was about 3 inches, okay? With this version, and we'll install it in a second, it's gonna allow you to take the anchor stick, because this is the question we always got was, hey, can you mount the anchor stick on there? And the answer was no. But now you can slide the anchor stick, whether you want to mount the 5-inch version or the 8.5-inch version, depending on your kayak. That goes on there, no issues. You can actually pick up the whole kayak from this version. It's extremely strong, so no worries there. This slides in place. On this kayak, you still have functional control of the rudder, all that good stuff. Mounts in place, incredibly strong, looks amazing. Like I said, you can pick up the whole kayak. We're not going to do that. We are going to get rid of that for now. That's one option that you couldn't do on the old version because we knew that would break it. It was designed to fail. That way you didn't hurt the kayak. It wasn't a mistake. It was done for a reason, and I'll show you why in just a second. So we'll pull that back off of there like that. We'll come back here. We'll remove this rod tube. Now, this has never been removed, to my knowledge, right? It has a gasket here. You can hear it. You heard that noise when it broke apart right there? That gasket stops all that water, you see how it's around there, from getting in that hole, okay? The peacock is excited about something over there. This is the factory hardware. These are the 3 washers that come with it. We're just going to put that in there. Now we're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver. You want to make sure you get these holes lined up, right? The smartest way to do it, in my opinion, is just set it over top so that way you can look down without the screws in. The washers are in place. You can see the holes. You can get these started. Oops, a little off. I moved it. Am I failing? Oh, I was failing. But that's why you take your time. That's why you don't use the drill. It should start nice and smooth. Everything gets lined up. I'm going to move this out of the way real quick. I mentioned earlier that I was worried about the kayak breaking. Now, Old Town has obviously developed some kind of jig for this because sometimes this hole was cut all the way out here within an eighth inch of these small pilot holes. And for a long time, we were worried that someone would put something on here that was too strong and they would actually break the plastic and cause an issue on the kayak, okay? Well, since that, 2 years ago, these holes have become a whole lot more consistent, okay? And it was this bottom screw. The hole used to come out very close to this single point by itself, which would be this one. And we were always worried that someone was going to break the kayak, okay? Obviously, Old Town has changed something in the manufacturing process. That hole is centered way better than it used to be, okay? We'll get these last two started. Nothing wrong with installing this with a regular Phillips screwdriver, just to be precise. Once you get it started, though, it's actually a zoo, okay? So now that that is installed, it's that easy. That gasket compresses the same way the one on the stock system does, and it won't let any water in there. This one got rained on. This is actually the one we just took out, okay? It'll let you fit all of your normal adapters. This is an Adaptapost by Ram. Yak Attack and Ram used to partner years ago. So it actually installs on this Yak Attack tube like this, and I've had these for probably a decade, okay? Comes off. I prefer them. Slides in place, tightens down. You still have your full length of the track that you can go all the way through there. Extremely strong. It's going to let you do anything you want to do, okay? Whether you want to mount a fish finder here, the anchor stick, a phone holder, whatever you want to do. And one of the things people do, and one of the reasons they were breaking the second version, is they would mount lock and load systems, and they would put a 4-foot GoPro pole here. They put a battery up there, and then it's just an idea of height and leverage, right? This would wiggle, or they'd set the hook extremely hard, and the whole kayak would rock. And eventually, over time, it would wear that out. Or they would put a, that's a 5,000. They had guys putting 8,000 series reels in here, and then trolling with 8-foot rods for striper and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it wasn't designed for that, okay? So this version it's going to let you do whatever you want to do, and it's really possible because the holes on the kayak are much more uniform than they used to be, okay? This is the rod holder I normally use. You can use the Yak Attack lock and load system, no issues. Here's a lock and load system on a little ball. Some people put their fish finder on this, or whatever you want to mount. Or the lock and load Yak Attack rod tube. I prefer these. I've had these things for years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this. I'm going to adjust the angle a bit. Put this in here. You can tighten it down more. Put it out here, simulating a way you would actually troll. Adjust it however you prefer to adjust it. I usually like to have this back a little bit. Now this is a system that we would use for blackfin tuna here over the winter time. X-Wrap 5,000 series rod, medium action rod. 5,000 series reel. I'll loosen that up a little bit. I'm going to put that in here. I'll tighten that back up a little bit. And you guys will see very quickly, it's wiggling the whole kayak. The kayak is moving. We could pull on that very tight. That drag is probably tighter than you would ever troll with and actually catch the fish. Yeah, no issues. You will notice some flex in the system, but you're looking at this whole thing has play in it, right? You see that wiggle? And you could tighten it down on there much tighter, do what you got to do. This stuff, it's not going to break, okay? We actually tested it. I tried to pick up a wooden table with the CNC machine on it, and we actually tried to strip this insert out of this system, okay? Extremely strong, not going to run into any issues. You could pick up the whole kayak by it, okay? You could pick up the whole kayak by these. No issues, much stronger than the old version. And like I said before, really what happens is as needs evolve, the product has to evolve. You have to make it better because people use it for different things, okay? It's on the website. It's available. There's a link in the description. They're still $30. They're ready to ship, no questions asked. And everything on the website is shipping in 24 to 48 hours, okay? So if you have any questions or anything like that, leave a comment below. If I don't see it, we do get extremely busy. You can shoot me an email. We have an automatic response that says, hey, if you don't hear from me in a timely manner, give me a call. Sometimes I miss emails. It's just part of the game. It's hard to be everywhere at once and keep doing things like this, okay? So if you have questions, reach out any way you can. Phone call makes it easiest. It's going to come to my pocket as fast as possible, okay? We appreciate you taking the time to watch. I hope you have a great day.